Hello, welcome to another edition of Best MMA Picks. I am your host, JD, and we are here to break down the card for UFC 204, Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson, Part 2. This is taking place in Manchester, United Kingdom, and it will be taking place tomorrow at 7. Main card starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Very excited for this. This is going to be a very exciting fight. I have my leans for this card for you guys here. I'm going to break it down real quick. I'm going to give my gut picks, and we should have some plays tomorrow for you. We will release those to our Capper Tech. You can find the links below if you go to our link portal, and then you click on Capper Tech in our link portal for the description of this video. We give all our picks away for free. We don't get any compensation on those. Please give us a like, a share, thumbs up, what have you. We appreciate it. It helps our channel. Leave us a comment with your picks below. We appreciate that too. We appreciate any corrections that you guys have. But let's get this down to business here. I'm going to get through this real quickly. I'm just going to give you the rundown in a kind of like a 10-second Cliff Notes version of each fight. So starting from the bottom up to the top of the main card. First, the first fight of the main card, Mirsad Bektic versus Russell Doane. And both these guys, I'm pretty impressed with both of them. Russell Doane has kind of had a rough patch coming into the UFC. He's had a couple, kind of alternating wins, losses. Mirsad Bektic has just been completely dominant with his striking. He's got good wrestling. He defends the takedown well. Mirsad Bektic is just a very dominant fighter, and I don't expect him to lose this one. Got to watch out for Russell Doane, though, because he can definitely surprise you with some pretty good grappling and slick submissions as well. He's got a pretty well-rounded game. He's one of the more well-versed Hawaiian fighters, I believe, and kind of underrated, to be honest. He definitely could lock in a submission here and surprise people. So just be careful here, betting on the undefeated fighter. But my prediction here is for Mirsad Bektic to defeat Russell Doane by, I'm going to go with TKO here. I think he's going to finish him. Next fight, we have Stefan, the skyscraper Struve versus Daniel. And I can never pronounce this guy's last name. I think it's Omelianchuk, Polish fighter. Omelianchuk has definitely surprised some people in his latest UFC fights. I believe he's coming off of a win, if I remember correctly, and it was kind of like a back and forth battle between him and another heavyweight. Jarvis Danho, I believe, is who he fought. And Jarvis Danho, and he won that fight, if I remember correctly. And I can't get my computer to stop lagging here. So yeah, he fought Alexei Olenek, and he defeated him by majority decision. That was a bloody battle. I remember that fight. Got him to the ground, beat him up pretty good. Actually, Olenek beat him up pretty good on the ground, but it went to a majority decision from Omelianchuk. And in the Jarvis Danho fight, Danho definitely, he kind of came out strong and beat him up pretty good, got a couple good shots in, but this guy's got a really good chin, and Danho definitely gassed in that fight, as he does in a lot of his fights. But I think that this one could be one where it's just kind of both these guys end up playing kind of timid. Struve tends to be very defensive, and he's getting a little bit gun shy in his latest fights. So that could be a detrimental aspect to this one for Struve. The odds, I don't know where they're at, but I'd say this one's kind of a coin toss with a little bit of an advantage going to Struve. But we could see this guy, I don't know that Struve's going to be able to knock this guy out. He's just got a really good chin. So, yeah, odds are kind of tightened up a little bit. Definitely an advantage for Struve, though. It's hard betting a heavyweight like that. That's a negative 165. So, at first guess, it's, I want to pick the underdog here, but I'm going to go with Stefan Struve to defeat Daniel Omielanchikuk by, I'm going to go by TKO. Next fight, we have Ovince StPreux versus Jimi Poster Boy Manuwa. This one is kind of like two heavy hitters, heavy batters going up against each other. Two guys with ridiculous power and athleticism, very explosive fighters. Manuwa, out of the two of these guys, I would say the guy who has a solid chin would be OSP. Manuwa has been cracked before. We've seen him go down. And I definitely would suspect that his chin is a bit of a glass jaw. And so that could be a problem here with StPreux. The problem with StPreux is StPreux tends to be a little bit gun shy at times. And he waits for the right moment, and he's not throwing strikes consistently throughout the whole fight. And that could be bad because Manuwa is a very aggressive striker, likes to get guys up against the cage, uses his Muay Thai and the clinch very well. And I wouldn't say that Ovince StPreux is a very good clinch fighter. He's more of a boxer, and he likes to pick his shots and go for that one-punch knockout. So that could be, that could be bad for Ovince StPreux. But I'm still going to go with StPreux here. I think he's gonna find a way to catch Manuwa, and he's gonna crack that jaw, and he's going to put him down. And so I'm going with Ovince StPreux to defeat Jimi Manuwa. I'm going to go by TKO. And second to the last co-main event, Vitor the Phenom Belfort versus Gegard Mousasi. Gegard Mousasi looks better than he ever has before. Vitor Belfort is off of those PEDs, and he's not going to be the same fighter here. He's definitely got power, but Mousasi is a different beast. This guy is a devil. Like, he's a killer. Like, if Mousasi is the kind of fighter that if you let people fight to the death in the UFC, he would probably fight to the death, and he'd probably win the majority of his fights. He's just lethal. And I think this is Mousasi's time. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I like when a fighter has a chip on their shoulder. And I think he's going to come out here in brutal fashion and defeat Vitor Belfort, surprise a lot of people. I'm going with Gegard Mousasi to defeat Vitor Belfort, and I'm going to go by a ground and pound TKO, KO, bloody TKO, ground and pound. And the last fight of the evening, the one where I think that this one could go either way, honestly. And my heart wants me to pick Dan Henderson, but the mind tells me to pick Michael Bisping, being that he's at home and pretty much undefeated when he's fought at home. I don't think that Henderson's going to find. I don't think he's going to find a place on that chin of Bisping this time around. I think he's too old, and I think this fight's going to be a lot different than the first time that they met. Dan Henderson's got that mileage on him. He's still got a pretty good chin, and he's got ridiculous power still. But I think Bisping learned from that first fight, and he's going to be out for blood this time around. And I think he's going to get Henderson by a decision at home in front of his home crowd, and he's going to defend the belt. But boy, I would love to see Dan Henderson beat Michael Bisping. That would be something else. And so it's kind of a win-win here. If you place a bet on Bisping and he, wins, you get your money. And if he loses to Henderson, you get to see a legend hold the belt, the UFC belt, for the very first time, and probably one of his last fights before he retires. So, this is really going to be, it's going to be a great fight. I'm really excited. And I hope you guys are too. But I'm going to go with Michael Bisping here. I think he's going to weather that, that right hand, that powerful right hand. I think he's going to find a way to pick Henderson apart over 5 rounds. But boy, 5 rounds is a long time to not get hit by Dan Henderson. So anything could happen here, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think Michael Bisping is going to come away with it. It's going to be a decision, probably a unanimous decision. And I want to bet Dan Henderson though. So that about does it. That about wraps it up. I'm going to give my gut picks here for the prelims. Lucas Sajewski versus Mark Diakis. I'm going to go with the newcomer Mark Diakis to defeat Lucas Sajewski by TKO. Leonardo Santos versus Adriano Martins. I'm going with Adriano Martins to defeat Leonardo Santos by TKO. Danny Roberts versus Mike Perry. I'm going to go with Mike. Oh, this is a tough one for me. Very, very tough one. Man. if Mike Perry gets a finish, he wins, obviously. And I think he could get a finish here, but I'm going to, man, Danny Roberts going to a decision. And with English judges, I'm going to go with Danny Roberts here to defeat Mike Perry by decision. Leon Edwards or just Albert Tumanov. I'm going with Tumanov here to defeat Leon Edwards by KO. Davy Grant and Damian Stasiuk. I'm going with Davy Grant to defeat Damian Stasiuk. I'm going to go by split decision. Ian Entwistle versus Rob Font. I'm going to go with Rob Font to defeat Ian Entwistle by decision. Brad Pickett and Yuri Alcantara. I'm going to go with Brad Pickett to defeat Alcantara by a decision. So that about does it. There's your gut picks for the card. I place zero confidence in those gut picks, though, so please bet them carefully. Those are just what I know about those fighters now without doing film study on them. So most of my bets, if I have any players, are going to be well backed by either friends of mine, myself from viewing footage, or by record and statistics. So tread carefully on these picks. Enjoy the fights, though. Thank you for tuning in, and we will enjoy those fights. Leave me a comment below. Leave us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter at Best MMA Picks. Follow us on Instagram at Best MMA Picks. Thank you for tuning in, and everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe out there.